We're going to look back at the previous editions of Hâck The Hague 2017, 2018 and 2019. And we're going to look forward at the next edition in 2021, if there will be one. Because today, well, we should have Hâck The Hague, but as you know, it's a crisis out there. So it gives us also a moment to reflect on the past and look forward to the future together with you, our viewers. Most of you have been participating in Hâck The Hague. For some of you it might be new and you might be looking forward to the next edition. You will find many lessons learned from the past. My name is Chris van 't Hof. At the physical event I was the host too, and today I'm your virtual host. You're also able to ask your questions. You can post them on the chat next to your screen, and somewhere halfway we'll go through your comments and also in the end. So the schedule for today. We'll do some rounds of interviews with the people organizing Hâck The Hague. We also talk to one of the hackers, and then we'll go look at the future. Well, you sit at home with your computer, and you're probably a hacker. So what do? You're probably testing this webinar too. So any code injections, cross-site scriptings you find, there are coordinated vulnerability disclosure policy counts too. Don't put them on Twitter. Disclose them responsibly, but well, our guys have been checking and we're pretty sure it's secure. So who are we going to talk to today? Let me introduce you to our guests here on the table. Here to my left is Magdalena Simiejowski. She's a solution architect from the municipality of The Hague. You have been developing the dashboard the control room is looking at. Peter van Eijk, he has been managing the control room during the first 3 editions of Hâck The Hague. He's a security manager here. Here on my right, we have Pieter Jansen, the CEO of Cybersprint, the company doing their part of the organization of Hâck The Hague. Chantal Stekelenburg, head of operations of Zerocopter, the Zerocopter platform. That's where the findings were triaged and sent to the judges, of which you are 2 members, but also Jeroen Schipper, the CEO of the municipality of The Hague, being part of the judges, but also, well, one of the main organizers. But Jeroen, so this year, no live Hâck event, Hâck The Hague. We could have done it virtually, but why there's no virtual Hâck The Hague today?
Yes, well, thank you. First of all, I'm the CISO, so I'm responsible for the security, not the CEO.
Oh, sorry,
yeah, no problem.
Oh, Chief Information Security
Maybe
Officer.
in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have, of course, examined the possibilities, and what you said, a virtual event was possible. For instance, we could do OpenVPN or have a big screen in City Hall, have a Discord channel, but that's not what Hâck The Hague is. It's a physical event where the municipality with hackers and vendors come together, try to hack into the live systems, but also it's an open event. The hackers that were last year or the years before know that civilians come and watch the event. They ask questions, so we can do we can give some information about hacking, about ethical hacking, the good side of hacking. So it's for us a way to educate people and small businesses that come to the municipality and City Hall. Yeah. And see the event live.
So not only disclosing vulnerabilities to the municipality, but also disclosing hackers to the citizens.
Yeah.
So they can look and see that, well, there are actually a lot
them.
of nice people.
Yeah.
Well, don't touch the hackers. Hackers don't like to be touched. So, well, that being said, of course, I'm quite happy that we still have a virtual event, and it's kind of physical, as you can hear the noise from the library in the background. But how about 2021, next year? Will there be a Hâck The Hague? And well, if rules apply as they are now, what will happen?
If it's up to us, then yes, of course. 2 years no Hâck The Hague is not possible, I think. No. So we're focusing everything to organize an event on September the 27th. It's a Monday here in City Hall, bigger than ever.
Yes, bigger than ever. Okay, so later we're going to talk about the results, but we also have one of the hackers here, not physically at the studio because he's at a remote situation, hacking his way through other customers. Jamil, Banu, there you are, yes, coming in virtually. So yeah, we can do a little bit of virtual event. Jamil, welcome here, live at Hâck The Hague, disclosed. You're a principal cybersecurity consultant at Capgemini and one of the prize winners of the 2019 edition. Good to be with us. We'll talk to you later about your findings. You've even brought a video along, right?
Yeah. There was a video POC here, correct.
Yeah. So there we can see you live hacking through the system. Well, we're going to disclose that later on. So this is just for the viewers that I can see that you're really live here. So for now you can well, sit back and relax and enjoy the show and talk to you in, well, let's say 20 minutes, half an hour. Okay, catch you later. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the past. We had 3 editions, Hâck The Hague, 2017, 2018, 2019. And this actually gives us an opportunity to look behind the screens. How does an event like that actually work? So, well, here you have the municipality hall. There you can see these big rows of hackers. First edition was 40, then it grew up to about 100. So the people could really see the hackers, but that's what the public saw. If we go to the control room, this is what they saw. So here we go to Magdalena. You developed this dashboard. What do we actually see here?
Well, on this dashboard we see generally traffic that comes from the firewall. And here we monitor the traffic volume and the packets that are denied or allowed by the firewall. On the previous picture, we see more general network statistics, such as the activity of the hackers, which source IPs are the most active, the traffic flow between different subnets, and which destinations are targeted the most.
Because in the beginning it goes quite slow. Is that when they're just scratching the surface and well, it's about 10 o'clock, all hell breaks loose? Or
Yeah, that's when the event starts and the hackers start actually scanning the destinations and searching for vulnerabilities. We developed these dashboards with Elasticsearch and Kibana. And last year we had 34 gigabytes of data and more than 6 million alerts from our intrusion detection system.
Okay, so there's also a lot of bad traffic.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, some illegal moves they're pulling there. Well, we come back to that later with Peter on the rules of engagement. Anything else on the dashboard? You can see this one. And here we have the control room. That's where all the dashboards comes together, being managed by Peter. And well, I pronounce it Dutch Peter, so because then it's not Peter and Peter, because then you have the similar first name. So Peter van Eijk.
Thank you for the introduction, Chris. The control room is a feature we have during the day, daily operations, to monitor 40 plus critical processes of the municipality, whether they are available, whether the performance of those processes are okay within the bandwidth we propose to our clients. But during the Hâck event, we also have the monitoring of the event here in the control room, but also in the city hall itself. And we also have a managed service of our security operations center. So from 3 places, we are monitoring the event to see whether there are some issues regarding the performance and the availability of the systems, while the hacks take place at a real-life systems, also servicing our services to our civilians here in the city of The Hague.
That's important to mention, because for the people new to Hâck The Hague, they're actually hacking a live system, a live environment. So you don't want it to go down because of all the traffic.
Right, and that's just during the event. We're monitoring what's happening. But before the event, we do a lot of work as well. We test the dashboards, we replay the text from the year before to see whether the dashboards are working, the performance of the dashboards are working. So yeah, it's a big operation. You cannot do it by yourself, so we have a huge team here at site, but also at the other sites, watching over the event taking place.
And as Magdalena already mentioned, you also see some bad traffic, flood-based attacks, brute forcing. So that's also the dashboard where you see it coming and you block this kind of traffic.
Yeah, right. We want to see that traffic to inform our clients whether it has a issue on performance or availability of those services.
Yeah.
So if you see the floods coming in, we can try to get it, to notice the hackers that they have to withdraw a little bit, because otherwise services are under attack and we are not able to service them at all.
It's against the rules, so you kick them out, right?
It is also against the rules.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But then, if everything goes wrong, we have another room, which is the crisis room.
Yeah, that's
you've been using the crisis room as one during one of the events, or
sometimes we have to, but mainly it's used as a room where we come together to discuss certain incidents involved within the control room. And within the control room, we also use lights and sounds to notice us when there's something happening. So everybody is on his feet to get the incident solved.
a situation room.
Right.
But this is this is what you've been watching all day, right, in the control room.
This is what the guys and girls in the control room watch all day. Yeah. To see whether the performance and the availability of the services are within the bandwidth. Yeah. So any disruptions are noticed.
They are. Yeah. And have there been participants being kicked out because you could see in the monitoring that they were using attacks which are not allowed?
Yes, but it also started, it was not 19, but in 18 event, where we saw that the hackers were hacking each other.
Ah, right.
So that's what we noticed from the control room as well. We saw the traffic coming in, but not going out really.
Yeah.
So that's one of the guys went down and noticed you. To say that there was an event within the hackers, on the hacker systems itself. So that was fun.
I can still remember it quite vividly because right at the start you could hear cheering all over. Oh, open file sharing system, blah, blah. Well, it was from the guy sitting next to him.
Yeah.
So hackers are not always good at defending, they're much better at attacking. Well, that being said, Pieter Jansen, rules of engagement, because we're open for hackers and there's a broad scope and we have a live environment. So what kinds of things are hackers allowed to do during an event like this?
What hackers commonly say is out of scope is nothing a hacker ever said. Because when you're putting something live, there is no scope because everybody can attack it. Of course, when you're servicing the city, there's, for example, the bus lanes where you have the big pullers which pop out when the bus is not driving there, which goes down when a bus passes by. That's all internet connected.
Yes.
I think last year we even had such a system on display there where people could actually try to hack that.
Oh, they did, yeah. Let me just put away Captain America. It's a much easier image. Yeah, pullers, so let's get into that because it's a traffic regulation system. So if you would hack that, you can actually influence traffic within the municipality of The Hague. So how do you cope with that?
Yeah, so I think it's good to stress, and using this example, that it's all live systems. And whenever possible, a test system will be provided. But it's not always possible to have such an exact system ready. So because everything is live, there should be some rules of engagement, just like you have it in your responsible disclosure guidelines. And these regulations are aimed at keeping systems up and not causing more damage than you need to. Because if you have to prove that something can be done, you don't actually have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how far you go when proving your point.
Yes. Yeah. Well, then we go into the proof of concept. We'll talk about that with Chantal later on. But you have any other examples of what hackers found where they got into? And well, one application was even fixed on the spot, right? And released immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a system, it was a cloud application, which was used by the municipality, which of course had other tenants. But they fixed it on the spot immediately, I think within an hour. So I think that's a good display of resilience. You got a notification about a vulnerability and you managed to patch it immediately. It was also retested by the hacker and confirmed as being fixed. Yeah. I think there's really proof of this event working. And
how agile can you get, right?
Absolutely.
Really awesome.
Maybe to finish, if you look at the rules of engagement, it's usually about causing damage, which is typically done by using mass scanning tools or using tools you do not know how to handle, or copy-pasting scripts that you found on the internet. It's always a bad thing, don't do that.
Yeah.
And you've seen that a lot with fake vulnerability checkers, for example, where you actually exploit your own system. Don't do that.
But they're actually similar to the normal rules we use for coordinated vulnerability disclosure, right? But they're more specific because we work in a live environment and when this pressure cooker with all these people working together, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very tempting to start using these automated exploitation tools and just launching whatever you can find against a system. And we typically see that happening in the control room after, say, a couple of hours and nothing is being found. Then people start launching those tools out of pure desperation, I guess.
Yes, just trying, yeah. Okay, let's continue because, well, the control room is ready, rules of conduct are ready, rules of engagement are ready. Hackers start finding vulnerabilities and then you need to report them. You need to build a proof of concept. And that's where Chantal comes in because Zerocopter is the triage platform. It's also used worldwide for other bug bounty programs, hack events and the like, but also for Hâck The Hague. How does it work? Because normally you as a hacker, you just mail your proof of concept to abuse ad or responsible disclosure ad, security ad, and you see if something happens.
Yeah.
But the Zerocopter platform actually forces you to deliver good proof of concept and proof and gives a timestamp, of course.
Yeah. So in our platform you can submit a report for coordinated vulnerability disclosure. And all the reports are gathered for one customer at one place. So the customer has an overview and you can see your reports and track them.
So the control room also has a Zerocopter dashboard?
Yeah,
Okay.
indeed. Yeah. They all come in at one place. And so during Hâck The Hague, we take a look at all the reports with a team. So it's people from Zerocopter, but also from the municipality of The Hague that are going to assess all the reports to see if they're valid, if it's actually a vulnerability, if it's an understandable report, if the reproduction steps are understandable, and if we can reproduce it.
Yes.
And if so, then it's a valid finding, and you can win a prize with it.
The reproducibility is very important, right?
Yes.
Because Peter just mentioned Polis. So I know the one hacker got in, but his proof of concept was not clear. You couldn't reproduce it, right? And another hacker came in 10 minutes later and he won the prize.
So reproduction steps are very important. If those are not clear and we are not able to reproduce it, then it's not a valid finding. So,
but then again, if two hackers file a report of similar value, then it's the one who comes first, and that's where the timestamp comes in, right?
Yes,
okay.
Indeed.
I also noticed during some of these events that hackers bypass the system. They approach you saying, Chantal, can you look at this? And then I came in between saying, well, no, it's not allowed to influence the judges. But it turned out that they were finding other vulnerabilities way out of scope.
Some of the people came to me that they found something which was out of scope, and they still wanted to report it. And so I advised them to go to the regular responsible disclosure policy and report it there, so that the people from The Hague can take a look and can still fix it. But it's not for the prizes.
No. But the hackers are hackers. If they find something, they report it to you.
They want to get it fixed,
And from your side of the dashboard, do you see what kind of toolings they use?
Sometimes people tell us what kind of toolings they use, yes, indeed. But we mostly ask for things that are manually reproducible.
Okay.
So we can verify them manually.
Yeah, because there's some hackers who are just very good at one trick.
Yeah.
But here you need to pull a lot of tricks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other experience on your side of the story, or shall we go to the statistics?
Maybe we should go to the statistics.
Okay. So the findings of the last 3 editions. What starts to sound like the Eurovision Song Festival, but it's a hacker event. So 2017, we had 37 participating hackers and 4 findings. And 2018, we had 47 hackers, and they found 64 vulnerabilities. And in 2019, we had 79 hackers participating and they found 102 vulnerabilities. This doesn't mean that the municipality of The Hague has been less secure since.
No.
That we got better hackers and
More
a broader
time.
scope, of course. Then we go to Jeroen, Chief Information Security Officer of the municipality of The Hague. What do these statistics tell us?
Well, in 2017 we only had 4 findings.
Yeah, that's not
Not
quite a lot,
much,
right?
but that was because of the time that we had. It was about 3 or 4 hours. There also was a team of 10 students that worked together. So yeah, that's a lot of teamwork.
Okay, so 37 hackers, that's then only 8 teams or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, okay.
So we took that to 2018, and at that moment you could participate alone or in a team of 2. So then we had, I think, 6 or 7 hours time frame to do the hacking. And the same for 2019, so it's getting bigger and bigger. And of course in 2019 we also had the vendors participating.
Yes. And we broadened the scope quite a lot, and I have to say that that's mostly thanks to you, because you've been talking to these vendors who were, well, you can imagine in the beginning a bit anxious. You know, your value application is being tested live with so many media attention. Most vendors didn't want that. There were some who said, well, actually it's a free pen test, but you convinced them to get along, right? So how many vendors joined during time?
In 2018 we didn't have any vendors, or maybe a handful, but in 2019 we had 15 to 20 on the top of my head. So that's a lot. It's not everything we had of the vendors that deliver services to us, but it was quite a lot, and those are the modern thinking vendors, I think. Yeah.
And it also makes the event more entertaining. I can remember the 2018 version, we had these pumps, SCADA system, and in the beginning hackers weren't really looking at it, but when the vendor showed up and he actually got routed, said, well, this is your target, then the traffic came up quite rapidly.
Yeah, that was great.
That was pretty awesome. And in the last event we had about 20 vendors or something like that?
Yeah.
And the example you mentioned that it was fixed on the spot, they actually came to me and said, well, we already have an update, can we release it? Yes, please do.
Yeah.
So then again, you got some new findings on the same application, right? And it makes it much more entertaining, much more challenging.
But sometimes vendor has to be stimulated to participate.
Yeah, how do you stimulate vendors to go along with the hacking project?
Well, we can take a look at the contract and see when it's over for them. But now, when you truly describe what they can get out of it, a free pen test, you mentioned it, but then normally they're convinced pretty quickly.
Yes, and their applications are being tested always by hackers, so then just rather do it in a more controlled environment and get a free pen test. Yeah. So hopefully for the next edition we will have even more vendors joining us.
Yeah, talking about that, in all new contracts of IT vendors, we included that in the contracts. Yeah. So when you, of course we do pen testing, that's mandatory, but it's now also mandatory to participate in Hâck The Hague.
Okay, there's no escape.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Here we have a pie chart. Can you read it from there? Oh, we have.
Yeah, I have
okay. There we see that the green field is the resolved findings. So those are the vulnerabilities are being fixed. There's a small chart of the pie saying retest requested. That means that we've sort of solved it, but we asked the hacker to retest whether we really solved it, right?
Yeah. It's really interesting to see in a couple of weeks after the event, Peter's team is communicating with the hackers, asking for retesting and fixing things, and that's really great. Yeah, and there's also a couple of findings that can be retested.
Yes, okay, that's a small
part.
No
reaction.
We see a larger part, 19.7. It's work in progress, so it's still being fixed.
Yeah, that's most of the time it's difficult to fix. Other findings are related to software, for instance, and we're looking at renewing the software or going to another system. So then we balance the cost against the waiting for the time to install new software.
Yeah. Because from your side of the event, you can see the whole software landscape.
Yeah.
parts being renewed anyhow, and you make a sort of risk assessment. So what might go wrong if you use the vulnerability, balanced to the costs of fixing it or not.
But it's important. I don't do that risk assessment. We only make the advice. It's always the responsibility of the top of the organization. So every system or large piece of data is the responsibility of one of the directors. It's pretty high up in the municipality, and they have to explicitly accept the risk that we won't fix, for instance. Yeah.
And perhaps in some cases, fixing one piece of software imbalances the rest. Right?
Yeah.
That it's all connected, and you first need to disconnect stuff.
One big chain.
But that's the side the hackers don't see. They find the vulnerabilities, and well, do some of them start to be annoyed, saying, "Well, I found the vulnerability and it's not fixed."
Yeah. That's really tricky. Communicating with the vendors, looking at the whole chain of events. It's easier said than done.
Yeah. But then again, more than three-quarter is already solved. So that's where you hackers helped out the municipalities and the vendors, making stuff much more safe. Before we go to one of the hackers, anything else you want to say about these, George?
No, I think that what we see in Hâck The Hague is that it's really a transparent event. We try to be as transparent as possible, and I believe that in the field of security or cybersecurity, or how you want to call it, it's really important to think this way, to use the knowledge and experience of the hacker community. Yes. And sometimes it's pretty difficult also for me within the municipality to talk to the higher management to explain to them why we have to invest in events like this or our coordinated vulnerability disclosure program.
It also helps the program to show that we're serious with it.
Exactly.
It attracts more people. But talking about the hackers, now we go live to one of our participants from 2019. I see there's no questions on the chat. Okay, no, I continue. Jamil Banu, please join us. There you are again. Hi, you've been watching up until now. You like it?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Okay, so you participated in the last edition, 2019, and you actually recorded how you found the vulnerabilities with running screenshots. There's a whole lot of code in there, but just to show the hackers, well, a view behind the scene at your side of the screen. We're now going to show the video, and if you'll be so kind to be the voiceover, just tell us what we see, because we're going to see a whole lot of code running. I didn't get it, but perhaps the hackers at home watching this do understand, and if you provide some explanation on that, we'll now put on the video. Yeah, there we go.
Right here, there was a file basically that's a log file, and that you can access that log file out of request and parameters. So what I've done is I followed the the URLs out of the browser when the document object model loads, and then from there was sort of parameters. So I started fuzzing these using pubs, using list, and then it turns out one of them called get error log text file. That has been there. So when this returned 200, which means that is exist. So what happens is you basically see the exception trace, and you see the internal paths, and also stuff that are related to the development. And that was, if you can see from the screen, like 2018 and before. So with these information, what you can do is you're going to understand what kind of exception that have been triggered on the back end. What are the paths and stuff, so you can fuzz it more. But since this was hard to replicate, because when I was sending it to the proof of custody, telling me, all right, but it's not exist anymore. So I think when there was so many requests on the application, there was a problem with handling these requests. So what I've done, I just provided them with the link and created this video in order to show how they can download. And the good thing, they fixed it just, I think, in 35 minutes. They told me just open it from incognito, a new session, and try to access it, and that was fixed. That was really cool.
Okay. Thank you very much. Pieter, you want to comment in?
Yeah, I was actually on the jury looking at this, and when the video was shared with you, it's a perfect example of a great proof of concept, because this was a case which was very hard to trigger, because this exception would only happen when that system could not communicate with another system, which normally never happened. So, but when it does happen, it discloses a lot of information. So that's why it was one of the more surprising hacks, actually.
Okay.
So it's very helpful because it disclosed quite some information. No real sensitive information yet, but that's an escalation that's, of course, lying around the corner. So it was a great example of an interesting vulnerability with a very good reproduction video, because I think without a video, it was very hard to actually confirm this.
Yes, yes. You're actually one of the few with a video, right? That's
yeah.
Yeah. So that's very nice for the hackers at home to see how it worked. ABF Research also allowed us to show this as you hack into their system. What kind of toolings did you use?
Yeah, for this, I use since it's a municipality, and I use specific something like the culture, that when developer they are writing this in their culture. So I use a list on that, and I use another list to brute force these places. Sometimes developers make a mistake. They expose things and they forgot to really make them private once they move to production. So I just brute force these list points, and they make so many requests. And then whenever something comes like it exists, like 200 OK, and the HTTP response, so that I consider it exists. So I add it to my to-do list to dig deeper into that. The tools that I use, the proxy, the PopSU, GoBuster for making these requests, and or sick list, which are a list of brute forcing list for domains, URLs and stuff, and WFuzz.
Okay. So after you filed in your findings, how did you experience the feedback, first coming from the judges and later on from the vendor?
Well, the first thing that I've done is I went to Europe, to the CISO, and I told him that this something exists before I did it. And then I went to write it. But since I was writing many vulnerabilities, because we have a time span, and I want to learn, I was making mistakes by having maybe 5 browser windows open, and I didn't know which finding that I should provide the POC for. It was a bit of trouble. So there was some stress because I'm hearing that people finding something.
Yeah.
So I tried to not hear any of that, and then just focus on it. And then I submitted the URL on the Zerocopter dashboard, and then created the video for it when there was a misunderstanding. And that's how it went. So
okay.
There were also other findings out of scope. There were some of them were high, but I just reported them.
Yeah, because you filed 9 findings in total, if I'm correct, and some were out of scope, but they were forwarded to the people responsible, or just.
Yeah, we just put it in the normal CVD program.
Okay. Yeah. And about this specific vulnerability, how much time did it took the vendor to fix it?
I think it was 35 minutes.
35 minutes? Yeah. Oh, he was there on the spot, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, no, I think it was a quick call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great.
Okay. Well, Jamil, thank you very much. Later on this round, I'll come back to you to ask you for advice for future participants of Hâck The Hague 2021. So stay tuned. And anything else you want to leave us with now, or shall we continue?
Yeah, you can continue. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. We'll just do the same round in reverse, because we've been talking about the past. Now we're going to talk about the future. But before we talk about the future, Jeroen, the municipality sent out a questionnaire to participants of Hâck The Hague, but also the past participants and future participants on what they thought of Hâck The Hague. Any results yet?
I don't think it's on the screen, no. But we indeed did a survey, and there were a couple of answers that are really triggering us. For instance, the big thing that's around since 2017 is can we release the findings sooner?
Yes.
And that's a difficult thing.
That's a recurring request, right?
What we decided, I think 2 years ago, in 2018, was that we as a municipality are not the experts. So we always let the hackers disclose the findings.
Oh, it's their responsibility. It's not responsibility of the municipality to disclose the findings,
yeah,
but it's their own.
But what we always ask them is, please wait for a confirmation from our side that it is fixed.
Yeah.
A lot of the systems we use are used at other municipalities, or in the case of SCADA systems, are only updated once a year, or maybe every 2 years, or not. And we have to decide what impact it is. So we always, and it's maybe after about 6-7 months, we communicate through the Zerocopter platform. Okay, your finding is fixed. You can disclose it now. So then, or not.
Well, that's an important dimension you're adding now. That you might find a vulnerability at the municipality of The Hague, but soon, the IBD, the Information Security Services of the municipalities, they're watching too. It will go to other municipalities, finding the same vulnerabilities, and only when they fix it, you can release it. There was also this case with a printer, right, which had a severe vulnerability. Was the CVE wasn't updated, and then we needed to inform other municipalities.
That was a great finding.
Yeah.
That had a lot of impact. I think the CVE was released 2 days before the event. We weren't patched yet, so always patch.
Well, the vendor didn't release it yet.
There wasn't a patch released, so it went through the IBD and then the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Center. They contact the CERT team of the country that the supplier was in.
We even went international.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think we received a patch within 3 working days. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You already mentioned the vendors joining. We already have vendors joining next year?
Yeah, I think we have now about between 5 or 10 vendors, so they're pretty early, a year before the event. But yeah, we hope that every vendor will join us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you slightly seduce them or force them to join?
Let's go with that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, and until then, our coordinated vulnerability disclosure page is open, right? I mean, if people find something now, they can still file it. So let's say there will be a Hack Day 2021.
Yeah.
We can say about 80% sure.
Yeah.
Something about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Chantal, you'll be joining us next year too, of course, as Zerocopter. What are your ambitions for next year?
My ambitions: more hackers.
More hackers.
More women hackers.
More female hackers.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because there's so few, right?
Yeah. So last year we had one.
So she was DDoSed by the media because they really went to, there's one lady, and the cameras were continuously picking her out. So, well, can I do my job, please?
I want to spread the media a little bit about, around a little bit more female
because
hackers.
Because there are female hackers. It's not a guy's job only, right?
Yeah, they are there. And
so how do we get them?
Well, I'm gonna do my best and rally some women, and we'll come with a team next year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, most female hackers, they also organize themselves, right?
Yeah.
So you have the women in cyber Amsterdam, you have all sorts of cyber women.
Yeah, so
veterans.
I'm part of Women in Cybersecurity Community Association, WICA for short, that's much better.
Yeah, I already got this sticker, you probably can't see it, but it's a black cat with a moon.
With a black cat,
awesome.
It's a pun, And we're definitely gonna come with a team next year.
Yeah, and of course you will be there too.
Yeah.
With an whole army.
Yeah, I'm gonna come with a bigger team probably because the more findings, the harder it's gonna get to do the triage. So we need to expand the team as well.
Okay. Peter, any advice for participants next year? You already talked about rules of engagement. You already gave some examples. Chantal already talked about a good proof of concept. What is your golden advice for hackers participating next year?
Well, my golden advice is that there's at least a year to prepare. So sharpen your tools, develop new skills. And you have to assume that the low-hanging fruit will not be found. Maybe because there's some new vendors attending who have not been vetted in the past through this army of hackers. But I think the hackers should not rely on the standard tools. They should do more investigation, participate in public bounty programs, sign up for the platforms. There's a lot of platforms out there. which you can sign up to and apply to participate in continuous programs. So sharpen your skills, study, follow new vulnerabilities, and I think that's also one of the big things from the past years. The amount of new CVEs coming out every year is increasing, so there's more data to work with. So don't sit still, don't wait until next year, get started today.
Yes. Okay. And probably next year the competition will be more fierce. Oh, I see one question on the chat. Yeah, we have a question. I think that's one for Jeroen. It's in the public interest to disclose. Local government should push for it. Maybe opt out for the researcher? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, local government should push for it, but that's the difficult part. We're pushing.
Yes.
The things that are found in the vulnerabilities that are found in our own systems probably are fixed within a couple of weeks after the event.
Yeah. And disclosed.
And disclosed. The trouble is with vendors that don't have the tools or don't have the knowledge. How do they have to react to a finding like that?
Yes. Yes. And it's always risk assessment. I mean, from our side of the story, we can see the context of the vulnerability, and sometimes you need to do a responsible non-disclosure.
Yeah.
But we do. We push hard. So believe us.
Yeah.
Peter?
Yeah, I think it's also still a state of mind that not the whole IT industry is getting used to, because, and that's not specific for Hâck The Hague. I think the participating vendors in Hâck The Hague are really mature. But there's also a large part of the vendor community that does not really understand security issues.
Yeah.
I've seen cases where you report a security vulnerability or they're outdated in patching, and the response is you get a quote for fixing the security issue, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
And that's kind of a state of mind that we have to create together, I think, in terms of awareness.
Chantal, I assume that at Zerocopter you have also experience with, well, probably not disclosing some vulnerabilities for your customers because it's difficult to fix. You can share some of this experience?
What do you want to know?
Well, at Zerocopter you have many customers inviting hackers, and if a hacker says, well, I found this and it's not disclosed and I found it a year ago, how do you deal with that?
No, yeah, we always ask our hackers to ask our customers for written consent,
Yes.
and to make sure that it's fixed, and then most of our customers are more than happy to let them disclose a vulnerability, definitely when there's a good write-up, because it's also something other people can learn from. So
Yes.
yeah.
So in the end it will disclose, but it depends on the time, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just really hard to get something fixed, so it can take a long while. Yeah.
Just have to wait for a new version.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's also Peter mentioned the maturity of the vendors, and vendors that participate in an event like Hâck The Hague are really mature.
Yeah.
But there are vendors that told me, I don't want to compete or participate. What if they find something? Yeah, okay, then your maturity is pretty low. But it's also the hackers' part. That hackers must understand the difficulty to fix some things.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to disclose everything within a couple of weeks, but that's not realistic.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so to the one who posed the question, thank you very much. Yes, we're working on it. Yes, we're pushing them. And Hâck The Hague is not only about fixing the systems of The Hague, but we're also educating vendors. And it's a tough job, but we're working on it. That being said, Peter, still working on the out-of-scope findings forward and educating not only vendors, but also other municipalities, other groups where they found vulnerabilities?
Right, and also look at the lessons learned.
Okay.
We're talking to Zerocopter, but also Cybersprint to see how we can improve the dashboard, how we can improve the portal. So findings will be much more easy to share. But we're also looking at the replays of last years, where our systems can still co-op with an enormous amount of additional findings, but also traffic for next year. But we're also looking into what can we learn from it, and how can we adapt some things in our daily operation. So we're looking at vulnerabilities even more and more. And well, patching is almost our second nature. When there's a vulnerability, when there's an advice from the NCSC or from the IBD, you see that we can co-op to that, and we can see that we are fast in getting the solution within the systems of the municipality. So we're looking looking lessons learned, and see how can we improve ourselves during the year.
Yeah.
And the team was very sad due to the fact that the 2020 edition was not going to take place.
Yeah.
Like you said, we tried everything, also an online possibility. But again, the effort will be on the 21 edition.
And the control room is ready for the 2021 edition, right?
Control room is always ready.
Yeah.
Not only for the 21 event, but also on the daily basis. Yeah.
Which means we're back at Magdalena. During the show, you've been watching the network traffic. So how's the traffic doing now during the event? Do you get a lot of traffic from hackers currently?
The traffic is a bit down because they're all watching this event, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, so at least we've done something good, right? And yeah, I hope to see you back too in 2021 with the next edition of Hâck The Hague. Well, this is the Q&A round. I see there's no questions on the chat. There's probably all getting loose on Twitter or something like that. So yeah, save the date. On the 27th of September 2021, we will be, well, either physically downstairs again with in the big hall, all being vaccinated, drinking Club Mate with each other and getting drunk afterwards.
With about 120 hackers.
We're
aiming for that number.
Yeah, with even more than last edition, because last edition with 102 and now we're aiming at 120.
Yeah, there were 102 findings and 79 hackers.
Okay,
yeah.
And you're now aiming for
120 hackers. Yeah.
Let's make 128, then it's a round binary number.
Yeah, let's
yes.
do that.
That would be better, yes, okay. And a lot of teams. Good. So save the date. Hope you're there. There's one final question. If you would give a rating to the resilience level of The Hague municipality, for now, what would this be? Well, I guess the rating is already online if you look at basisbeveiliging.nl. Pretty good, actually. Now, what would your rating be? The resilience
Depends
level?
on the scale.
Yeah.
But I think we can score on a scale of 1 to 10. I think we score a good 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
To add to that, I think it's a large city has a large attack surface, and I think the most important part is actually the resilience. How resilient is the city, and how quickly are you able to patch? And I think that's more important, the deltas and your velocity.
Yes.
Yeah, but you also see a movement from on-premises solution to cloud services. So we must able to get in that cloud services as well to see whether they are vulnerable or not.
Yes.
So the defense strategy is not only on premises but also in the cloud.
Yeah. Oh, we have another question. An issue with disclosure is that the municipality is not the vendor, but the user of the software. Well, that's not a question, but it's a statement, right? We agree on that.
We agree, and we're lucky that we're a pretty big organization, so we can sometimes push vendors to release updates earlier than they wanted to.
It's also the other way around. They depend on us because we're a very large customer, right?
Yeah. So yeah, of course, but every vendor should have an RD or a CVD policy.
Yes, that's why we are educating them.
Yeah.
All right, any other cities are following the example of The Hague? Well, in the far past, Eindhoven done it once, but that's a pretty long time ago.
There are a couple of cities that want to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, and currently Rotterdam has his first Hâck 010 event last year. There will be in December again, the second edition.
Yeah.
Any other municipalities also following suit?
Well, we had a couple of visits from other municipalities, big and small, sometimes groups of municipalities that are interested. So, yeah, we provide all information or everything we can. We help them. Yeah.
Yeah, we learned a lot. So if you are a municipality and you want to do it too, just follow us and we'll educate you on that.
Not only locally, also internationally. Even from other cities from the United States, there were requests on how do you organize this, what your do's and don'ts. And I think it's really interesting to see the international traction as well. Yeah.
Will there be credentials to applications next year?
We had them last year.
Yeah.
We had test accounts to the Polar systems last year, so I could actually log into the SaaS application.
Yeah.
So I would assume that will be again the case next year.
Okay.
We also see that as part of the responsible disclosure policy, sharing knowledge with other governments locally within the Netherlands or even abroad is an important step as well.
Yes.
So sharing knowledge, yeah.
Okay, well, as the Q&A continues, let's first go back to Jamil. You're still there? To provide us, yeah. So, yeah, to finish the round of interviews on the future. So, if there are hackers now watching this program, what would your advice will be to them to participate in 2021? What should they do? What should they don't do to win some of the prizes you won?
Well, I would advise them first to read the scope really well.
Yes.
And then the rules of engagement. And besides that, because there were like sort of mistakes, others attacking others. I have a firewall, and some people they were attacking me, so they were massive scanning the entire network.
Oh yes.
So that's something really important. And yeah, you focus on the scope, and I think from my experience, I went to the mobile application also. So I thought that the other hackers could be busy, in the web application. They're going to put in vulnerability scanners, but not the mobile. So I would say it is really hard sometimes to find the low-hanging fruit, the XSS and stuff. That thing that you can't find in the vulnerability scanners. You can focus more on the application logic. You send something, you see how the application behave, and then you trace it in a multi-stage exploitation if that exists. So I would say focus more on the application logics.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. And then the most important question, will you be joining us September 2021?
Of course.
Oh, great. We didn't rehearse it. You could as well sit there. Okay. You any questions for Jamil before he goes?
Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon. I hope to see you again. Okay. Thank you very much. Jamil Nabu. I see the questions dried up. Well, there was one last question. Can we get some swag? The stickers, the T-shirts and stuff. Yes, you can, but you need to show up at 27th of September 2021, and then you'll get some of these clothes and stickers. Well, they can get the stickers for their laptops too, right?
There's always the goodie bag.
There's always the goodie bag with a lot of stuff and a lot of fun. So I do hope to see you back next year. And if not, keep hacking, keep doing it safe, and keep reporting it responsibly. Thank you very much. Ciao.